Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I'm Deanne Castro, Creative Memories Advisor in Bakersfield, California. And I am going to be showing you a scrapbook border that I made using the Grateful Harvest paper pack. It's brand new, just came out this past week. No, a couple weeks ago. Sorry about that. I'm losing track of all my weeks here. Um, but it coordinates perfectly with the Croptoberfest papers and also the new uh, molten lava paper packs that we had available just this week. Unfortunately, they are sold out now, but they were available for about a week. And so I'm sure a lot of you picked up those papers. Those also go really well with this Grateful Harvest paper pack. So I have a little surprise to show you at the end. It has to do with one of the punches that came out with this paper pack, but I'll show you how to do it when we get there. All right, so here we go. Let's switch over. And this is one of the paper packs. This is the designer paper pack, and all these really pretty fall colors. Uh, Lots of different varieties of leaves and pies and lots of really fun stuff. So that's one of the paper packs. Then we have the Tone on Tone paper pack. And I love this one. It is so pretty. Look at the colors in these. We have ginghams and we have solids, and they are absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to show you one of them. This is the red, but I just think it is so, so pretty. Look at all the colors in that. It's actually a little bit of a deeper color than what my camera is showing you, but I just love it. It's so pretty. So move these out of the way and I will show you the border. So this is the basic border. This is what it looks like, and it's done with triangles. Now you can do various triangles. The one I'm going to show you today is closer to a true triangle than just cutting a square in half. Because if you just cut the square in half, one of the edges is quite a bit longer. So these are a little more true to size, true to three fairly equal triangles. So this is the base. But then you can add all kinds of things to it if you want. One of the punches that is available with this collection is a fence punch. So you can add that to it if you want on top. If you want to add the wagon, this is the wagon, and actually here is the actual punch. So it's a little on the small side, but I'm going to show you a little bit later how to make this wagon bigger. Okay, so you can add that on there, or you can add this acorn and leaf border. Now I have it attached to something else to show you a little bit later, but you can add that on here as well and just have that go all the way across. Okay, so there's lots of things you can add to this basic border. Is what I was talking about a second ago. This is the actual 1.5 inch square triangles that are just cut in half from edge to edge. So this looks nice too. This one is actually easier. So if you'd rather do this one, you could do the same thing. This is 1.5 inch square. So when you get to the end, depending on how much space you put between them, this may need to be a little smaller here on the end. Okay. Or as you will see, we have pieces left over from cutting out these triangles, and you can use those pieces and make this border. So it looks even different using the same pieces, well, the pieces that you've cut off, but the same colors. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to want to do with this is we're going to want to cut 1.75 inches from a basic lighter color than what you would normally do here, because these are our darker, more vibrant colors. Hold on just a second. I dropped all my paper pieces, so. Okay, there we go. So we're going to take this piece that's a little bit of a lighter piece and trim this to 1 3/4 of an inch. Let's see, where's my Post-it notes? So the base will be 1 3/4 inch. Okay, so that's what we have. So I'm going to cut this one to 1 3/4 inches. And this is going to be the base. So I don't need it right away, but I did want to cut it first. Okay, then I'm going to take 4 different colors. So these are the colors that I'm going to use. These were out of, this was out of the designer paper pack. So this is what the backside looks like on this one. This one was out of the designer paper pack. This blue, this is the back, some really pretty leaf colors, very similar to what we had on a pattern from a couple years ago. And then these two are out of the tone on tone paper pack. So here we have the gingham on the back side here. Okay, so we are going to cut a 1 1/2 inch piece out of these 4 colors. 4 colors, 1 1/2 inch. Okay. So let's see, how will this work? I just do, I'm going to stack them just to be, for the sake of time. And I'm going to make sure that I put these in here at the 1 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm lining it all up. You guys can cut them separately if you want, but just for the sake of time, I'm cutting all 4 of these at the 1 1/2 inch mark. Okay, so I've got all 4 colors, just like this. So I'll move this out of the way. Okay, so now we have all 4 colors that I want to use. And now I'm going to be cutting 1 1/2 inch squares out of each of these. And I'm going to need about 4 of each. So you're going to need 4 1 1/2 inch squares to make the triangles. Okay, now I'm leaving them stacked. It's just easier for me and for the sake of time to just leave them stacked and cut 4 times for 4 1 1/2 inches. Okay. Make sure that they're stacked just right again. 1 1/2 inches. One and a half inches. And one more time. But again, you can cut these all separately if you'd like to make sure that they're all cut the same. All right. And so we still have probably enough for another border left over. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, I'm going to stack them all again, and I'm going to put a mark halfway across the top. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. So 4 marks in, 4 marks in. So right here is going to be the center of that. So I'm just going to put just a little light mark at the center, because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut from the center down to the right corner, and then again the center down to the left corner. And that is going to give you the more true triangle size. And you can cut these all separate if you'd like. I'm going to stack them and cut them all together. Okay, and these pieces are just left over. And then I'm going to restack, and I'm going to cut from that center mark down to the left corner now. Okay, and I'm going to do that with all 4 stacks. Okay, I don't need those, but I do need those. So here again, I'm going to find the center, mark it. And it's easier to do on this trimmer because it gives you the 1/4 inch lines. It's harder to do on the mat. And since you're going to be cutting them anyway, might as well do it on the trimmer. Okay, so I'm cutting from the center down to the right-hand corner. Okay, move these over here. Center down to the left-hand corner. Then I've got those. Now, the reason I'm setting these off to the side is I just want to remind you, this is what I made with those. So I went ahead and I have a basic triangle, but it's made with 2 different colors. And I made this with these leftover pieces over here. Okay. Here again, I'm going to find the center on the top. Just mark that lightly. The pen doesn't want to work very well. Okay. And I'm going to cut again from the center down to the right-hand corner. And then down to the left-hand corner again from the center. And one last time. Mark the center. Come on, pen, work. There we go. And the one last cut from the center down to the left-hand corner. Okay, now you guys can make these any size you want. I've just particularly chosen the 1.5 inch because it'll make the border a little bit smaller. Okay, so I have my base here. And I can start in the center. So when I put this down here, let's see, what color do I want to, I'll just make it the same. So I have the brown, and I'm going to put the brown with the tip right at the 6-inch mark right here. Then I'm going to basically center it on the base. So it's going to be up about a little more than 1/8 of an inch. Okay. So now I just have it centered right in the middle. Now I'm going to take the next color. So I'm going to go yellow, blue, and orange. Turn them over. And I'm looking for the yellow. So now I'm going to move it over just about 1/4 of an or 1/8 of an inch and just set it right next to it. Kind of eyeball the distance here. Try to make it as straight as I can, as even as I can, with making this as straight across as I can. Okay, and I'm just going to continue to do that all the way across. So next is the blue. So I'm going to line it up on the bottom as straight as I can. Have the distance between them about the same. It isn't probably going to be perfect, but you can just eyeball it and just work your way out. All right, now I've got a few more. I'm going to need the brown, and the yellow, and the blue, and then the red. Okay, here's the brown. Then the yellow, and we won't get all the colors on here. And that's where we will end up using one of these smaller ones up here as well. Okay, so then the next one would be the red. And we can use one of these. And it needs to be the right orientation. See, if I put this here, it's not going to take it straight across. So you need to find the one that's the right orientation when you turn it back over. Not that one. This one. No, not that one. Okay, this one. So see how it's going to go straight across here on the top? And then you can actually line this one right up against the edge because it's the right size. Depending on how far apart you put the these little triangles, depends on if it's going to match up right to the end or not. This one doesn't exactly, so I'm just going to leave it about right there. The other thing you could have done is take this one, put it on here, and then just cut it off. Okay, so you didn't need to find this one on the end, but since I already had that piece in there, I'm going to save this one for another area. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over and we're going to go backwards. So I actually need this orange one. It will go here. Okay, just eyeball it for the distance. Try to keep them as close as you can. Okay, then the next will be blue, and then will be yellow, and then will be brown again, and then orange again. Okay, so here's the blue. Yellow. Isn't this pretty? I love all these fall colors. They're just coming out so nice. As long as you have a neutral background. Okay. So make sure that the background is fairly neutral so it doesn't overwhelm the other colors that you're putting on top of them. Okay, and then the orange. And then blue. And then I need a yellow. And the yellow is going to need to go straight across the bottom. That one will work. And this one's going to be a little big, so I'll have to just trim it off. So obviously the distance between my little triangles weren't exact, but that's okay. Okay, and then I trim it off. What do I do with my scissors? Okay, and there you have the base of your border. See how simple that is? That's really pretty easy, huh? Okay, so then you can take any of these other things here. I can just, what do I do with the, oh, here's the fence. You can take the fence, you can add that on there. It does cover up some of the colors, but the colors do still show through. Okay, so you can add the fence, then you can add maybe this bigger wagon. And these little pieces here, these pieces, these were cut out of this border. This is the Acorn and Leaf Border Maker cartridge. And see these here? You have that piece that comes out. And so I just went ahead and added it into the wagon. Isn't that cool? So then you can add the wagon right on here. Now, this is, like I said earlier, this is the size of the regular wagon. But I wanted to make it bigger. So let me show you what I did. Okay, so I took just a scrap piece of paper. This one happens to be 1.75 inches. Okay, so I folded it over about the same distance that the punch actually cut. Okay, I'm going to fold it over here. Now I'm going to take this fold right along the edge right here, and I am going to put it the third bar over from underneath here. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3. I'm going to line this up right along that edge right there. Can you see it? And I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. Set it down here, line it up there. And then I just kind of use my finger and hold on to it and then just push it as straight back as I can. It will be a little different each time you do it. And then I'm going to punch it. Okay. Now, here's the wagon. This was that wagon piece. And then because I folded it, now I can open it up and I can have a bigger wagon. Isn't that cool? Now, see, I didn't have it exactly in there in the punch right, but that's still okay because when I adhere it on there, it will still be straight across. And now I have a double side of the wagon. And the other thing you can do, the only thing that I don't have on it when I fold it like that is this little hook right here. So you can then just kind of adhere it together And then you have a triple side wagon. Okay, so there we go. Just like that, you've got a triple wagon instead of a double wagon or a single wagon. Okay, so isn't that fun? I just thought that was something fun, just a little trick to show you here at the end. So here's this border. So you can add any embellishments, any stickers, anything else you want to go with this. And then there, your border is done. Now, I do want to show you one other thing here. As you can see, I have these triangles all lined up right together. They're about a quarter of an inch apart from each other. And I just eyeballed this. And then I punched this with the border maker cartridge and put it along the bottom. So one other thing you can do when you've done those triangles that way is you can take another piece of paper and just put this on the bottom to make a wider border. There's a much wider piece. And then you can go ahead and add it to another color. Where did I put that other color page? That red one, that really pretty red one. Well, I'm not sure, but I can use this one. Okay, so if I make this a 12-inch border, because this piece, I cut a piece off of it to make the triangles. So it's not a full 12 inches. So then I can take this and I can put adhesive on the back, line it up on my mat to get the 12 by 12 piece. Just like this. And then I'll take some adhesive and put the adhesive on the back of this and adhere it on here. So it is the 12-inch piece. And then I can just add this on the bottom. And then I have my page. Now, granted, I've got things sticking out underneath here, so it looks a little funky. But here we've got the full page. You can add your photos wherever they'll match, on here. But it's just another little bit of dimension to add for your pages. So here's a photo. Here's a photo. You can add a journaling box. This one isn't exactly the right color, but you'll get the idea. Okay, add another photo in here. And you can extend these photos down further. Extend them down and put them down further and add more photos wherever you'd like them, because you've got plenty of room down here with this just little piece. Okay, or you'll be using a full sheet of paper and you can add this border down on the bottom. Okay, or you can change the orientation of it. Instead of adding the fence on here, which obviously would go horizontal, you can change this, add this here. Granted, this is not a 12-inch piece of paper, so go with it here. Okay, you can add this wagon if you want, just going across. Or here's a 12-inch piece. So just decide what color you may want it to be. Okay, you can take it across this way. Add it to the side, and then add your photos and your journaling box over there, and add your wagon going across, or other stickers or other embellishments, whatever you'd like. But feel free to use whatever color you want, whatever collection you want, because this is going to work on any collection. Then add whatever punches and whatever other embellishments or anything like that that you would like to go on that. Okay, so there we go. So we'll switch back over here. So let me know what you think, guys. I thought this one was really fun and really versatile. And fix it up however you would like with whatever colors you would like. Let me know what you think and share with me what you guys have come up with. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have an amazing week and I will talk to you again very soon. Thank you. See you later. Bye.